Which is amazing because I haven't seen you in a fucking while. Reno since Reno?
No.
He didn't go to Reno last time
ago.
When's the last time we saw each other?
Definitely wasn't Reno. We did a podcast together.
Yes, you came through once. Yes. Man, still, it's been so infrequent. Yeah. It's hard to. What have you been up to?
School. I finally figured my shit out. Mm-hmm. So right now I'm getting into voice acting. I have a couple connections.
You have the voice to do it. You know.
I've been told that. There was one time a lady. I was just visiting my grandfather when he was getting rehabilitated.
Yeah.
After some UTI shit, right?
Sure.
And the nurse, her name was Kendall. That's the only reason I remember her fucking name. She was like, "Have I seen you on TV?" I'm like, some people think I look. Should I sit close to the mic?
Yeah. I'm worried you could just pull it in. But
true. I forget it's here.
Yeah.
We switched to these ones now.
But she's like, have I seen you on TV before? I was just like, they're sketching like some tree or something. I was like, I hope not. Some people think I look like Corbin Blue. I disagree. And she's like, no, that's not it.
It's because of the hair.
Dude,
draw that conclusion, don't they?
When I cut my hair, some guy, his name's Dylan, I think. I know his nickname D12 because it's Smash. And he's like, yo, has anyone ever told you look like Corbin Blue? I'm like, dude, I don't even have the hair anymore. But anyways.
He was late.
Yeah.
Mans was
Maybe
late.
it's because of the facial hair?
I didn't have facial hair either.
Back then.
Maybe that's why? Because I don't think I've seen you without facial hair.
When I have the facial hair, you've seen me without. Not recently.
Not recently.
I usually shave it. And then... But now, the only reason I'm growing it out is because I figured out I can do a handlebar mustache. I just think that'd be kind of sick.
That's funny because mine does the same thing. Mine gets like really stringy and it'll curl like an Italian mustache.
Mm-hmm.
Like those OG, like cartoony, like Italian mustaches. So like, I know I'm Italian.
Those mustaches are so cool. But yeah, this lady's like, yeah, you should get into acting because you have like the presence for it. I'm like, thank you. And that was like a year and a half ago, and I'm finally like doing that.
Trying to pursue it. That's awesome.
And then I'm going to school, an online art school, which is led by some guy who used to work at Blizzard like a few years ago. And then I'm doing Sac State for graphic design, and those kind of overlap.
Yeah.
In terms of like graphic designers need to learn how to. It's nice for them to learn how to draw. Some don't know how to draw, admittedly, which I think is strange.
Well, I know a lot. I know a handful of graphic designers. Not a handful. Let me rephrase that. I know a few handful. I know a few graphic designers who aren't artistically like inclined in the realm of drawing.
Yeah. But
they just do a lot of like editing.
Yeah.
So it's like not really like drawing it out, but their editing skills make it seem like their graphic art skills just top notch. Yeah. So I've seen it that way, but I feel like you do need an art sense to be able to really excel in that realm. Especially if you're going that direction. Because graphic arts covers a very big portion of graphic design.
There's so many different types of art. It's just because as I used to be like a sketch artist / illustrator or whatever, right?
Well, I remember back in the day.
Yeah.
Again, this was like Cogswell, and this was definitely the Cogswell phase. But you were doing a lot of not portrait. What is it? When you're drawing forms of people, like literally
figure drawing.
Yeah, you were very on that, and it was always really good.
I'm still on that. Yeah, I just think it's fun. It's nice and organic.
It just looks really good, especially when done right. And yours always came out really crisp.
Thank you.
Of course.
Where was I? Oh yeah, but there are a lot of people who come up to me. My friend wanted to make an app for Smash Brothers. He's a programmer at NASA.
Oh shit.
I know, it was pretty fucking crazy. And he's like, yeah, I'm making this app. I want to make algorithms for like if this move hits on shield, some technical fighting game stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I need symbols. Can you design that for me? I'm like, I'm not a designer. It's just a different skill set. I don't know how to design.
Right.
So I think being a graphic designer and an illustrator would be a cool combination.
Yeah.
I
mean, dude, a lot of art is going digital now, and like that's like the market for art at this point. I would say for this point, I still love the classicals, like oils and paints, and we had paintings right behind you and whatnot. But I didn't draw it, but I wish I did. But like, I'm still a sketchbook, paper and pencil kind of person.
I think you're gonna.
And like I tried going that route of like trying to work on like I can't even think of a sketch app like
Procreate?
there was Procreate, but it's in that realm. It just couldn't connect in my brain, so I was just like I gotta develop my art skills first, and I've still taken like a backseat on that a little bit. I've been drawing a little more, but I mean it's been very minimal since.
I've been better about drawing every day because there's just like this thing in my head. I'm jumping from topic to topic. I feel like none of these are getting finished, but
who cares?
It's just like, for the longest time, right? And I'm not trying to gloat.
No,
I'm saying I'm an idiot.
Charles, you and I are the same in this respect that like I'm never trying to come off as haughty or trying to show off or anything like that, but you know your talents, and it's okay to express that you know your talents.
So thank you. For the longest time, I just kind of went through art classes doing the bare minimum and being still at the top of class. I was just turning in assignments, not really trying to learn.
No, I remember this is a Cosmo memory. We hung out a lot during that time.
Yeah. I remember
you would be like, I gotta do an assignment real quick. You're like, oh, I gotta draw something. And you'd be like 15, 20 minutes. You're like, done, assignment's done. It looks really good. And you're just like, yeah, we'll turn it, we'll see what I get.
Yeah. And then I would pass my classes. I wouldn't turn in a lot. But the things I did turn in, I would get A's, and my teacher would pull me aside like, hey, you should turn in more of your work. And my dumbass was like, not turning shit in.
So that's and I want to touch on that just a little bit because that's a funny thing that I was talking to one of my bar managers, and he's like, certain things like that, there's either two reasons why, like something like you don't turn your work in, right? There's two reasons why.
Yeah.
It's circumstance. So like, oh, you were in the hospital or blah, 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 you know. And if it's not that, then it's motivation.
That's what was one of my problems.
We were in a dark place at that time.
I think I'm finally like getting out of that rut recently.
Yeah.
It's like this weird transition where you actually feel worse and then you
Yeah.
So I'm in that kind of feeling worse spot. It's not too bad.
We have a lot of parallels because I've been doing the same thing, but my escape has been fitness. So I've been on a fitness. Like you know me, I've always been into that fitness.
Yeah.
Like I kind of had this epiphany last night. I was like, I think I should do something in that world, like professionally wise. And I don't know why it's taken me this long because like, if I could, I would spend like 80% of my day working out, exercising, being active. And it never really clicked to me that might be something I can pursue successfully and enjoy, you know?
So for the art thing, right? I think back then, it reminds me of that saying, like, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I was the talent that didn't work hard. Yeah. Which kind of pisses me off. And even now, like, I'm looking at other students, I'm still just drawing shit, no problem.
Right.
And they're like, Charles, stop. What the fuck? How did you... Like, scratching my head. In that aspect, like, drawing's nice and it's also very difficult for me. So while I'm learning and realizing where I can go with it, it's also like a reminder of my failures, which I obviously need to like get over, right? But it's kind of hard. Because when I draw, I'm just thinking of all the past years, like how I could have been spending my own time drawing instead of like doing X, Y, and Z, hanging out with the homies. I need to hit a milestone, speaking of, but that's my guy. Yeah. But yeah. So that's what I finally figured out. I'm drawing more. I'm actually learning things I didn't know before, right?
You're taking your talents and actually pushing it.
Yeah, I'm trying to be the talent that actually works hard. Yeah. Because the thing I was talking about this with Kendall and Cassie earlier about art majors. A lot of people say like art's a waste of time. I think it's because the reason people say that is because a lot of art majors do what I was doing and do the minimum work, get a degree, but don't actually develop their skills, which is important. That's why a lot of the people in the art field don't. I think it's like 75% don't have art degrees. It's all in the portfolio, right?
I also think, honestly, art's going to be the next big thing. Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because we're reaching a point in technology, we're going to hit a lull at a certain point. Yeah. Like, we are pushing technology and science and those advancements to its limits at this point. And there's going to be another boom. It's guaranteed. It happens all the time. But until then, we're going to hit a point where, and even when we hit that boom, whether it's AI or whatnot, the things that AI cannot do is things that artists are the greatest at. That's creativity, that's imagination, and that's that expression part of what makes humans humans. So I think that's going to be the next step, because once things get all automated, you can't automate art. You can always copy, but you can't create.
There's been a surgence of digital art, or AI art, excuse me, and there are artists that are worried because it's like more like amateur artists that are worried because they seem to be accurate, but those AI are just pulling from other artists that are posting their art online.
Yeah.
It's basically copying,
It isn't,
right?
I was going to say, what's the difference between that and just printing out something you see on Google Images?
And computers can't draw hands. They're all like morphed and fucked up. They just look like balls with strings on them.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Weird. That's one part that AI I don't think will be able to keep up with, right? That's a creative, like that's what makes, again, humans a separate species, and you know, it definitely makes us very different from any other species in the world, is we have this aspect in our minds and our brains that make us creative and imaginative.
Mm-hmm.
Even scientists, like back in the day, Einstein was a big proponent on imagination. And like he said, if you want intelligent kids, read them fairy tales.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to make them more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. Like that imagination part is what strings our intelligence, not our visual.
I've been thinking recently there's been this lost tie between science and art, which I think is very odd. Like if you look at the Renaissance guys, right? They're all scientists and artists.
Yeah.
Which is odd. There aren't a lot of people who are like that these days. I was talking to the same NASA guy, right? He was like, yeah, if you want, I think it would be really good to get like a computer science, or like go to like a computer science boot camp or something, because there aren't a lot of artists who are who do code and vice versa.
Well, that's the problem too, and this is like
that's like a small example.
This is a school issue too. It's like they separate it, right? When people, I'm actually more mathematically inclined.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm more of an English. Like it's almost like there's a polarity of them. You know, there's duality.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a true duality. Like, because for me, I always thought that too. I was like, I'm way better at math than I am at English. And then I went back to West Valley for a hot minute, and I had to take English class, and it was the easiest class for me. Like writing was so easy, and the expression was so easy through writing. And I was like poetry is art just in word form. I'm like, there's no gap here. Like
I love writing. Yeah. Honestly, I'm starting to write every day, just my thoughts. I started on the 27th. It's only been a few days, right? But even then,
I used to be very like that. Yeah. Now it's just like every now and then I'll take it's usually at work. I'll just take a piece of receipt paper and I'll just like jot down things that are clouding my mind.
It's just like I was writing. I just wanted to write a sentence, right? I ended up writing 3 pages.
Yeah.
Small pages, but still a lot more than I thought of, right?
Yeah.
So writing's very important too.
Well, then
it's weird to separate.
You look into like geometric drawings, and those are always like geek me out because they look so nice.
Mm-hmm.
But like same thing, like it's a form of drawing, and it's yet a form of mathematics, and it's combined, and it still looks like an art piece.
It's all calculated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know why they try to separate that like art from math and art from science. Like they go hand in hand.
It's like that pendulum, that knocks those fucking dominoes over, whatever, and slowly rotates. That's art.
So voice acting, how's that process going for you?
I'm just starting. I need to still contact Renee. That's the person I'm going to reference, and then maybe I'll talk to my dad's cousin Brian, who's also teaching acting. But it's just I'm talking to them because I don't know how to start. I don't know where to go. I made a Fiverr account so I can do random shit, right? Because I start somewhere.
Yeah. So like, do you know like what kind of, is it like anime or is it like commercial or like do you have an idea?
I think doing anime and cartoons would be fun. Video games would be interesting.
That would be actually really interesting.
Video games are just doing a bunch of fucking grunts, like the character is getting good or something. So that would be interesting to just yell all the time.
Unless you get like a Last of Us kind of like campaign where there's actually a storyline, that'd be pretty cool.
Like very intricate dialogue.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting. But
I think The Witcher also has like some dialogue too, right?
Yeah.
The Witcher, Mass Effect,
any campaign games.
Yeah, like Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
Fucking GTA.
You
just don't want to be like on like an online Modern Warfare and like sliding.
My health is low.
Yeah.
That hurt. Oh my god.
There was what was it called? It's called Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Do you ever remember that game? It's an arcade style game. Mm-hmm. it was an overview, and it's like a D&D character, right? So like, there's dwarf, there's like mage, there's like 7 or 8 classes, and it's very arcade style, like button mash, and they throw weapons, and it kills like the horde of monsters, and then you go through the level, you take on the boss.
Oh yeah, I know. Okay.
So you kind of get in the picture. And same thing, you just hear like the narrator needs food badly. Just like that was the whole just literally grunts needs food bad. Like that was it. That was the only like voice acting they had. It was fucking awesome.
Level up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. It's just there's so many things.
It's such a big industry though.
Yeah. It's
I mean, you can do V2.
I still don't get it.
It's just
I feel like
Twitch streaming, but you have an avatar on screen.
But like, is there a reason just because you want to be anonymous?
I guess you want to be anonymous, but you still want to have a person on the screen for people to look at.
yeah.
Does your personality still come through the same?
Maybe some people.
Well, some people
some
put
people
out a
put on-
persona.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you can play a character at this point.
So
Yeah.
Or at the same time, you could do like, you know the guy Dream? Who did,
Yeah.
like a bunch of Minecraft?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever shown his face yet.
he did
He
recently.
did a reveal?
Yeah, people call him ugly.
So,
So
like,
just some average white guy.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
People call him like Shane Dawson and shit.
Yeah.
So, like he did, for the longest time, he was like the most renowned Minecraft gamer
Yeah.
on YouTube, I don't know if he was on Twitch, but on YouTube. And like would never show his face. All his friends did, all the people he played with did, but he would never reveal his face.
Mhm.
Like people like that would have good access if they wanted to just put something on. Like he uses Minecraft character as his quote unquote, because it's not VTube, but like something of that essence. But if he wanted to and kept himself anonymous, he could have done something
Just the
like
YouTube thing, like just the character mouth and stuff.
Mouth moves. The
Like
whole
in sync
character
with what you're saying or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
that. It tries to match it
Well,
like you're
first-
actually seeing someone talk,
Mhm.
but it's just an anime style like character.
Like I think everything's fairly accurate except for the mouth. Like when they're talking, just like
It's
their
hard
mouth's
though.
open.
Like mouthing words is hard. Like even in, I don't know, you probably have a better idea of understanding this more than I do, but like even in animation, like,
Difficult.
yeah,
Like if you watch anime, you'll just see their mouths moving up and down. You won't see them like exactly.
yeah.
You
And
won't
they just
see
have to
them
make
like
them-
make the F sounds and the S sounds and so on and so forth. It's
Well,
just
that's the
difficult.
thing too. If they don't change it, and like dub to sub, so like
Yeah.
that's why I'm pretty sure this is why dub has such a weird translation to it because it tries to match the mouth.
You can also change the mouth though, because there are those scenes where like Dragon Ball Z abridged, how they make it match the voice actors. Like they can do that to help them match a little bit better. I don't know if they do or not. I haven't paid too much attention.
I don't know. I don't even
desensitized.
watch dub, so I really don't know.
True. Yeah. I think the only dub I watched was Space Dandy recently, but that was dubbed first. Anyways,
I was like, what dub have I seen? I think the only dub that I've even partially gone through was Gurren Lagann.
Mhm.
But other than that, yeah.
in Dragon Ball, I don't really watch Dragon Ball Z though.
That was because it was on Toonami though. Like you couldn't watch the. Honestly, Dragon Ball is probably one of the only few ones that I was like okay dubbed.
Mhm.
That's because I didn't like Goku.
I didn't like-
voice
yeah.
actress.
Actress.
Isn't it funny? Like Goku, Naruto, and Luffy all have female voice actresses.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. And they make it sound decently. Like I know that's like their character style, but like they make it fit. It fits decent.
It definitely helps because I don't know about Goku, but just for
Yeah, you can't see Luffy being like having a male voice like one of us.
for Naruto and Luffy, like they're both they're young characters,
Yeah.
right? And they kind of even Naruto has that weird grasp.
Yeah. It's hard to say. It's hard to be like they're kind of feminine too, because they're not really feminine,
Yeah.
but like they're not super like macho masculine like
Mhm.
Zoro or
Jiraiya,
Yeah.
yeah,
Kakashi,
Mhm.
right? So you haven't figured out. Do you have an idea of like what? So anime, video game, that'd be really cool. So fun fact, my dad actually used to be a voice actor.
Yes, Voltron, right?
It was a spin-off. It's called Diatron 5, I think it's called.
So I've been lied to. Got it.
It took me a second.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's still cool though.
I just remember he was like, I was a voice actor. Like, I'm running with this. With scissors. Yeah,
That's
so
sick.
he moved out to LA for a hot minute to try and get through with that.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot of commercial stuff too, so he actually did like live action stuff. And he said commercial is where it's at.
I think I can see that for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, look at like Jared before he went crazy. Before he did his Jared shit, and like Flo, like they're always going to be on a commercial. How many times has that commercial been played?
Yeah. And the dude from State Farm, the black guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And the fucking person who does it for Geico, for the lizard.
Exactly.
The lizard too. That dude from Allstate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can see that. I feel like that's like easy money, right? Because like you don't have to act really fucking hard.
That was a commercial.
Yeah. You have one line, one scene, instead of like doing like multiple scenes in a show or movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it hits, you get like you're set because they'll never use someone else.
Is there okay? We'll go to the world of anime because it's just easier for me. Or no, video games too. Mm-hmm. Is there one that you would like to do, or is there like been a character you're like, I think I would
a specific I haven't thought about it.
One that's either been played or not. So like one that you'd be like, if they turn this into an anime, I think this character would be really cool.
I don't read a lot of manga, so I don't have that reference.
Okay.
There aren't a lot of characters that I like read about and been like, man, if they animated that character, I'd want to voice that character.
Yeah.
I think once I find my voice, like I can do a good amount of voices. My range is pretty
I was
big.
gonna say, if I remember correctly, you were used to throw your range around.
Yeah.
And it was really.
My friend and I were reading the Hunger Games just because we're like, I want to read a book with somebody else because that's just think that would be fun.
Yeah.
And like, I've seen the Hunger Games movies. I'm down to read the book. And while I was reading, they're like, I didn't know your voice could go that high. I'm like, yeah, I forget sometimes too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who does the readings for like audiobooks?
That's another voice acting thing.
It's not the author, right?
It can be.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Like for Jeanette McCurdy, she wrote a book.
Yeah, recently, yeah.
Yeah. About,
Yeah, usually authors get if they can,
preference,
they get
yeah.
someone if they want to.
so if it's an autobiography, they'll probably do it themselves. That makes the
That
most
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, David Goggins did one on himself, and he used his own voice.
Okay.
Same with Jocko.
Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of audiobooks. I just end up.
I don't either because I don't get a lot enough information.
Yeah, I like the physical.
I like reading.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I like both. If I can do both, if I can have the audio going on while I read it, it helps me to just absorb it a little better.
I see that. I listened to. It was the only book I listened to. Was Harry Potter book 7.
Okay.
Just because like the 7th movie, 7/8th movie, because they split it into two. It was going to take a while for it to come out. I was like, I want to know what happens next.
Yeah.
So my dad and I had a camping trip and we just listened to that on the way to and from.
I have a coworker who came in last night as Hagrid.
Yeah.
And he looks, I don't say he looks exactly like his Hagrid costume was on point.
The Hagrid actor passed away recently.
Yeah, that's why he
So
did
fucking
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like last week or 2 weeks
yeah,
ago.
Yeah.
that's why he did it. And he fit the bill perfect. So I got, I closed out his tab and he wrote on the thing, "You're a wizard, Steven." I'm like, oh!
It's cool.
Killing me. You're killing me. I'm a wizard. I didn't know. Mom, moving out the stairwell. Let's go.
Hagrid's sick.
He was an amazing character. Even as a small
That's the
role.
shotgun barrel.
Yeah. Such a small role, but such a big impact.
You gotta be like Vin Diesel, get your one line voice acting fucking Groot.
Yeah. What a guy.
Feels so
Oh yeah, he did all the
yeah, it was was it on Ellen or something like that? It was one of those late night talk shows where they're like, you have to say it in different languages, and they were just like rattling them. Do it in Spanish, yo. Soy Groot. Do it in like they were like Japanese, and
Watashi wa
it's just weird just hearing him speak it in Japanese.
It's funny.
It was. When so you haven't graduated yet?
I was talking about this with Vanille earlier. I technically switched majors. I'm doing graphic design now instead of art because art degree is kind of it's about the portfolio, not the degree. And I already know how to teach myself. I just need to fucking draw. That's the main issue. Is the work ethic, which I'm trying to work on. Again,
the volume,
talent,
pumping out the volume.
Talent that works hard, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So with graphic design, I don't know a lot about design, but I'm picking it up quickly. But that's what I'm going through school now. It's going to take longer, but I'm fine. It's a degree that I would be happy with getting. I don't want to get an art degree and be like, this is fucking useless, but I'm out.
Yeah.
Just,
no, I get that because that's why I dropped out.
Yeah.
because I was like, none of these degrees are going to get me where I'm trying to go.
Yeah.
Where I can't already go without it. So I was like, okay, like I'll step away from it from now, and if I need it, then I'll go back in.
And again, with like design, I know a few designers, and even my teacher was like, there's a lot of different fields in design. So if you learn this, you might not get the exact design job you want, but getting a design job isn't very difficult as long as you like spread your horizons and try not to be picky.
Yeah.
But then again, that's why I'm doing voice acting in the illustrations, so those can kind of overlap, and then I can do.
You're just entering the world of art.
I'm trying to I'm trying to do basically. I'm doing everything but music basically.
And you still have a talent in that too.
I can, maybe.
Trust me, you pick up the guitar again, you practice a few, you're gonna be right back where you are, where you left off.
My guitar teacher, these are his words, not mine. He said I did pick the guitar up quicker than his other students. I just didn't keep at it. You know?
You have a knack for art.
Yeah.
You do. Like, and that's again without the balance. Like you're not like, I'm only good at drawing. Like I've always noticed that about you is you've had this wide array of being able to just get into like the creative arts and just nail it every time.
Yeah. I enjoy it, you know.
And that's what you gotta recognize. Like, and I had this conversation at the park when we were playing basketball. But like, I see a lot of people who come into my bar and they just look like they're not enjoying what they do with their lives.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of sad because they get caught into that little trap where they can't really get out because that salary is just too good, or the benefits are just too good, or it's already created their lifestyle. So I feel like we're always in like a good spot right now where we can still stay malleable in that and figure out what's going to be our direction while keeping more doors open.
That's what I was trying to do. I was talking about it with my friend Martin, and he got a finance degree and he worked at the bank for a couple of years, right? He was like, yeah, I just wasn't happy. So he went to Cogswell and got a software engineering or computer science degree. And he's like, yeah, I'm a lot happier now. And he graduated at whatever age, late mid-20s. And I talked to him about my situation with graphic design. He's like, no, it's good that you figured it out, took the time to figure it out. Like, sure, you didn't like work for X amount of time or whatever. Yeah, just to get like you didn't just get a degree in work. Like you're still figuring it out, and it's good that you actually figured out what you wanted to do.
Yeah,
and how to do it. And then again, I still have they aren't side hustles yet, but you know. They can open up avenues for
sure.
Yeah.
I had a buddy that I used to work with. He was a bar manager at my old bars in Arizona, one of the old bars I worked at in Arizona. Same thing. He was like, "Oh, I'm leaving. You know, I'm gonna take this." I think it was also in finance. I forget what specifically. And he was gone for like 4 or 5 months, and then one day he came back, and I was like, "What happened?" And he was like, "I hated it.
Yeah.
And I make just as much money. I don't get the benefits, but I make just as much money, and I'm happier here. So I'll do this until I see what my next avenue is."
Yeah.
Oh, cool. It's that easy. So that's awesome, though.
I'm also getting into streaming, which is
yes.
I'm hooking up some.
Another form of art.
Yeah, but I'm getting a better provider next week, so I can actually have the internet speeds.
Yeah.
That's what's been holding me back for a while. It's just like I never had internet speeds to do so. It'd be choppy and disgusting.
What have you been streaming?
Huh?
What have you been streaming?
I'm starting to stream next week. When I would stream before, when it was kind of choppy, I would stream The Last of Us.
Oh, okay.
I was doing a bow only run just to like chop it up with whoever's in chat.
Yeah.
Show up and play a game. I would do that when I was taking care of my grandfather as a caregiver. Just fucking, which is another reason I stayed in the field of something I actually want to do.
Yeah.
Because being a caregiver for my grandfather, it did pay well. I was getting paid by his insurance, but it just was, I was miserable. And the days I did have off, I couldn't like spend time doing what I wanted to do because I had to recover.
Yeah.
You know?
I know
those
exactly.
Those were recovery days. I just couldn't.
So that was when Kendall and I were interns at when we were doing our internship, same thing. Like
they were Cassie's old place, right?
Yeah, so they were just such an easy gig. I didn't get paid a lot, but I didn't need a lot of money at the time.
Yeah.
But it was such an easy gig, but I didn't do much, but I just got so beat up. Like I just got so tired.
Yeah.
And like the climbing gym was like next door. I could hustle over there right after work.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't find the energy to even want to. And I was like, And I think they recognize that too, and I think it's more of a blessing because I took like a leave of absence for like a week or two, like a month. I think it was like 2 weeks to a month,
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm feeling better, like this and that. And they were like, we're going to go in a different direction. And I was like, it honestly felt like the shackles were released. I was like, amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, I was like, as much as it sucks because now I'm out of a job, like I feel 1,000,000 pounds lighter. And it was very much so a blessing in disguise at the time.
I was talking to Latoya about it, and she's like, "Oh, you're not going to watch your grandfather next summer?" I'm like, "Hell no." She's like, and she encouraged me to do it, and I was like, despite the money, like it's nice, sure, but I want my life back.
Yeah, it's hard. It is hard, especially with familial relations. But at the same time, you still have a full life you have to live.
And exactly, I just felt like 4 months were not wasted, but time is money, I guess. It's just not.
No, I get it. Like,
sorry, I had to be trained in physical and occupational therapy so I can like train him.
Yeah,
it was like I made a lot of progress with him. Right, he wasn't able to cook breakfast or lunch or dinner by himself. He had to be fed. He can get up very well, and we like made progress towards those things.
Right.
He's able to cook a whole breakfast by himself, do lunch by himself. He needed some help with dinner, but he was able to get around, move around. But then I left for that summer. I come back for the next summer, this most recent summer this year, and he wasn't able to do those things. So I felt like all my progress was just thrown out the window.
Yeah.
And maybe it is just his health, but maybe it was also the person who was taking care of him not being up to par.
Yeah.
I don't know. But even that was also like a demotivator.
I see where she comes from, but I would rather side with your perspective as well.
Right.
And as much as like, again, it's family, but at the same time, like, how much is it dilapidating your own progress, your own health, having to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get that. But some people are built for that. And obviously, like, I don't want to say obviously, but you just weren't, right?
No.
That's just not what you were built for.
I think I would be technically good at it. Like one of the professional physical therapists were like, "You're really good at doing X, Y, and Z. Have you thought about becoming a physical therapist?" And I was like, "No offense. I know you love your job, but I do not like doing this."
And that's the problem that I think certain people, like you and me, and even I wouldn't say my brother, but like you give us a task and we'll probably do it really well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that doesn't mean we're going to enjoy it. It doesn't mean it's like what our vocational occupation should be.
Yeah.
Just because we're good at it.
I think that's sad because some people are only good at certain things, and then sometimes they hate those certain things.
Yeah.
Even though they want to do something else that they might suck at.
Right.
It just kind of sucks because not everyone is a jack of all trades.
Right. And that's the perfect word for it. But at the same time, like, everyone has to start somewhere. Even if it's a slow start. Even if you have a rough start. Like, I've seen people who couldn't draw worth a shit be able to draw amazingly because they just kept at it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question. Is that the mantra you've had on you for a little bit now? Talent, hardworking talent? Has that been like your little mantra?
For the past couple months, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was never the guy who like worked hard unless I actually had to. I just got by with my talent.
Yeah.
I just did the bare minimum because I could.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then I
just
would watch.
Just meeting the goals.
Yeah, and then I would watch everyone else struggle and I'd just be like, keep at it, but who am I to talk, right?
Right.
Because I didn't work hard for what I was given. And I kind of took it for granted for a long time, which I'm trying not to do.
And which is really funny because I'll do that too. I'll give advice to people that I don't even take for myself. And that happened the other day. Because I was like, I had a friend who was just like, she's just going through it. And I was like, you don't have to go through it alone. She's like, I've heard that a lot. And I was like, okay, that's probably terrible advice then. If you've already heard it, then I'm sorry for also being, part of the mass that has added to that. Because obviously you've already recognized that. And I was like, and I can't really be one to speak because I never take anybody's help.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, I just had like an epiphany at this moment. I was like, I take that back. And I'm sorry I said that, because like I don't even take that advice. And I was like, I probably should, but no, I don't.
I just need to take my own advice. A lot of the time, and I used to not to. I'm getting better at it, but it's hard to receive advice from other people because I've heard it all. Like I just need to do it. Like I know what you're saying, and I appreciate what you're doing. I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but it's just like it's on me. I need to apply.
Yeah. No, and I agree with that, and I mean that's where I come from, and I was kind of like, I don't know why I'm giving advice. I probably wouldn't take myself.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where I've come to this point where I'm like, I got to do the same thing. I just got to do my own thing. And I know that works for me. And if it seems like it might work for someone else, I have to give them the advice I give myself instead of giving them what might work for them. Because I won't know. The only experience I know is my own. Like truly through and through. So if they want to know how I got to where I got, I can't give them advice that I didn't even use. I have to use, and again, this is on the basis that they're asking. Right? I'm not going to just share advice.
Of course, yeah.
No one likes that. But yeah, I've come to that. Recently I've come to that where I'm like, oh, this is all working for me, so I can only share what works for me, and not what just sounds like would work for someone else.
Give them advice that is, shown results in your
authentic. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. No, I've been on I've been trying to jump into the arts, but I have the imagination, I have the creativity in that imagination for it. I just don't have the practicality of it. And at the same time, like I'm not putting in the hours for that. But I've realized that I feel like my talents are more physically based. Like I'm just again, you guys know me. I'm just the guy that will just never stop. Like I'm that Energizer bunny that'll be like, if there's 2 more hours in the day, I'd probably be running right now. You know what I mean? Like if there's another 4 more hours, I'm at the gym. Like anytime I'll literally leave the gym and I'll be like, when I gotta eat first, and then do I go back to the gym, or do I go to the different gym, or do I go run outside, or do I walk the dog? Like everything's all physical based for me. So I'm like, I'm getting to this point where I'm trying to use that because I love it every day. Like I haven't had a bad day at the gym, and even if I did, my day turns. There was one day, but that was after 14 days of working straight, and I was just completely fatigued mentally, physically. And I was boxing, and I was like, yeah. So I've been doing like combat sports right now. So I've dropped climbing for a little bit because I've had a little just too much injury in the forearms, so I've been trying to develop my triceps and trying to give less tension on the forearms a little bit. So I've been getting into like fighting sports because that still accesses a lot of part of those bodies. It hits a lot of muscle groups that you don't really fire off doing conventional workouts. And so it was Monday where this happened, and I just like came to class, and I was like, I should probably leave. But I couldn't force myself to leave because I was already there. It was one of those things. I'm already
here. Might as well
just go through with it. I gotta stay with it because I'm not gonna waste this. And like halfway into the class, I was just like trying to fight my mental. I'm like, okay, like, we're in this, like let's get to it. And then we did shoulder sparring, so we don't really like hurt each other, but like you're touching up, you're getting touches, and like every time I would spar with someone, like just this rage would come out where I'm like, I just want to hit them. Like, I don't want to like spar right now. I just want to hurt them. And I was like, okay, I literally just wrapped out my gloves. I took off my gloves and put my wraps away, and I was like. And I know the coach there. He actually used to work with me at the bar.
Oh shit! Yeah.
I think he recognized that I was like not in the right headspace. So when he saw me like unwrapping and like taking all my shit off, he was just like, "Let him be. Like just let him get this day off." And yeah, I was just like, I gotta get the fuck out of here, or else I'm gonna hurt someone, or I'm gonna hurt myself, and that's not what I'm here for.
And even with your batches, like you have to take those days. Like if you don't, then it's gonna just become a fucking chore.
Yeah.
Don't push yourself. I mean, obviously, don't neglect it, right? But
yeah, it's finding that fine line. This is a concept that's in the fitness world, and I think it's a universal concept. But like finding that flow state, right? Of being like, okay, like I'm flowing with it. It's feeling good. Okay, it's not feeling as good, so maybe I pull back a little bit. But at the same time, like you have to know when some of that is just like, okay, I'm out of flow, or some of it's just like, no, I'm just not pushing myself hard enough. So I gotta push myself a little bit, and I think again it becomes this like little game of like a pen or like a balancing scale. Like okay, I push myself, and I'm still not getting to that point. I'm completely out of flow. I gotta step out.
Yes.
Or I push myself, and now I've gotten myself back into the rhythm. Let's do this. So I've been on that kind of kick, and now it's been like, and I always say like having a strong and having a like happy body, happy mind, right? Like. That's been one of my mantras, like that, and that's what's been getting me to like work out all the time, in a healthy manner. It's like I'm like, okay, if I want my mind to be sharp, I gotta get my body sharp. So I gotta hit the gym. Like even if it's like 20 minutes.
You need a good pilot with a good ship. You know, healthy vessel. Yeah.
Yeah. So like now that I've like as I do that, my mind's been a lot more clear. My thoughts have been a lot more fluid. I've been a lot less like jumbled and like anxious or depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, now I'm trying to venture into like different ideas that I can pursue outside of that, where I can be successful in the path that I've taken for myself.
Yes.
Because the path that I've taken is it's been a very rocky one, and at the same time, it's been very untreaded. So there's a lot of unknowns. Like I don't know anybody who's a bartender. There are a handful of people, but I don't know a lot of people who like don't have a degree.
Yeah.
In my group, right, in my social circle, like who aren't pursuing college anymore, who works at the bar, who's gone the path I've gone, and all those aspects, and made it work. But I think that's why I'm more dialed in this path because I want it to be a path of success.
It's good. Pretty good. I know a few people who have taken your path. It's mainly my older brother and his friends. Like most of them don't have degrees, and they kind of went through the work field. I think you met Alex. Yeah, that one random night.
Yeah,
he did the same thing. He's just been working.
Yeah,
he's like 30. Yeah, he's just 30 now.
Yeah, I see them as
doing very well.
Yeah, I was gonna say just stepping stones into my next path, and that's what I see it as. Is like I'm just trying to live it up, enjoy my life, and at the same time, I'm just trying to make that next path available for myself at the same time. So I haven't been at more peace with myself in the longest time, which is something that's I'm uncomfortable with because I have yet to be at peace. I mean, again, we've known each other for a while, and a lot of that time, I don't think I've been at peace. We've had our rocky roads, and they only get rockier, but, my feet get a little hardened from it now, so.
Being at peace is weird. Like, it's very unsettling.
It's annoying, because I say zen now, so, like, it's a very zen feeling. Like, it's not peace, like, because I'm not at peace all the time.
Okay, yeah.
It's just, like, I just feel right. And that doesn't sound right. So I say I feel like I'm in like a zen state where I just feel like everything is happening the way it should be, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried. I'm still gonna push myself to its limits. Okay. I'm not gonna push myself to its limits. I'm gonna push myself all the time to my limits. At the same time, I'm not gonna push myself past those limits to a breaking point, and I think it's gonna find me in a good place.
It's good to push your limits and then pull back a little bit just to like figure out what actually works for you. Like see how much you can do.
Yeah.
And then pull back to where you get the best efficiency.
And that's how I work out too. Like I'll go all the way up to my max strength, and then I'll drop back down to something I'm more comfortable with to get good form down. But I mean, like for me, it's like a thing of like, okay, I don't see where the road's gonna take me. I don't. But the way I'm going about it, I can't see it failing.
That's very good.
Yeah.
A lot of people get anxious when they don't see the road ahead.
And that's where I was. I was like, oh my god, like, and I would like freak out. I'm like, I don't know if I'm making a lot of money. Let's look into more job options. And I'm like, and then I get overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't want to work 3 jobs. I don't want to work 2 jobs. I don't want to work 4.
Yeah.
I want to work. I do work technically 2 jobs, but like, you know what I mean. I was like, okay, I'm stressing out about all this, and I'm not even in a state where I need to be right now. So why? And so I've kind of like you said, I've kind of dialed back a bit. I'm like, let's let things flow. Let's let things go, and just keep at the pace you're keeping at, and day by day, it's just gonna keep building on itself.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I have like a lot of like business ideas that kind of it's like a domino for me in my head. The way I have it like outlined, because I can't say it's gonna be a hard line, and I'm gonna get there. But like it's like okay. If I can just figure out this one little trinket, then it'll start the domino of like, oh, now I can put the investments of that into this, and then that into that, and then that into that, and now I have this.
What would you start with?
So the idea was, I wanted to do the app still, but I felt like that was still a big step. Like the
which app?
planning app.
Okay.
So that's still like that's on the earlier phase of the domino.
Yeah, you brought that up a while ago.
Yeah, and it's still on the top of my mind because I still think it's super relevant. And even more so because like a lot of people like to travel, and you don't want to travel by
I
yourself.
was literally talking about it with my friend the other day, Flo, and she was like, yeah, a lot of my friends said they want to go to X place, but like none of them have started planning anything. And, like, she's usually the one planning things,
Right.
And she doesn't know who to take, who not to take, because everyone literally wants to go to Japan,
Yeah.
right?
So I haven't started. I always keep tinkering on that idea and building on it a little more, but not in big strides because I don't have all the components to make it the reality I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I like tackle it little by little, and little by little for me is just like jotting little things down or like tinkering on what the design might be, a little like small,
Mm-hmm.
until I get all the components I need to actually bring it into real life, into reality, and make it a real thing. So that would be the first. That's one of the earlier dominoes that I probably knocked down. But there's one thing I have to do before that, which is like, and I was talking to my dad about this, and it's like finding that next little thing that's gonna be like a royalty kind of business, like venture. So like, whoever made, and this was the example he said, like, so we were driving on the road, and he was like, you see all those reflectors?
Yeah.
Like, they're on every highway. Every like 6 feet, 10 or 8 feet, whatever the distance is.
Mm-hmm.
Like how much money do you think that guy made just by making that small of an invention? And I was like, oh, I see what you're getting at.
Probably fucked up.
Yeah. And he was like, look at all the cat food that we buy, or like all the cat food snacks that we buy. Like how much money do you? And we buy a shit ton of that. How much money do you get? How much money did the person who created that successfully get?
I was just looking at the world the other day, and all those small things I see, and like, there's literally a job everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you can make anything. Like, there's someone who made the top of this little railing here, right? We're talking about industrial design in my intro to graphic design class, and there are people who, have to make the handles for, I don't know, vegetable peelers, right? Comfortable for people who don't have steady hands.
Right.
And then the average person will make do, right? Because it'll obviously work for them. There's
one
just
size
everything.
fits most kind of.
So that's when I started really seeing everything. Like, things were designed a certain way to perform a specific function.
Yeah, and he was
Literally
like,
everything.
you don't have to invent the wheel, but you can improve it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so the way I'm going about it now is I'm just going about life and doing the things I love to do, and then trying to sit into those moments where I'm like, this is very inconvenient.
Yeah.
How can I fix this inconvenient part of that little thing I love?
Because that's what humans do, right?
Yeah.
We always try to make things more convenient, a lot easier for people.
What can I fix for myself? And can I scale that to a bigger scale? How many people would also be
who else has this problem?
Yeah. Who else can benefit from fixing this inconvenience?
Yes.
So I've just been going through life, and I just kind of think about little things like that. Not too hard, because then I lose focus on what I'm doing throughout my day. But just like little things. I'm like, okay, I'm at the gym. That's something I really like to do. Like, is there something here that is killing me right now? And then from that I'll spawn like a big idea, and I'll be like, okay, like that could be another like business idea I can create down the line if I want it. It's not an if at this point, it's a when. When I get there. When I I like fitness, and everyone's catered to their own fitness idea. Like some people are more towards the aesthetic of, like, people want to look amazing.
Yeah.
They don't really care about lifting heavy. That's their byproduct, but they want to look super amazing, like a bodybuilder, or like their form of bodybuilder. Or some people are more about strength. They just want to lift really heavy, and the byproduct would be having the aesthetic.
Yes.
And as you can see, like with the world's strongest men, their aesthetic is not as pleasing as like the bodybuilding type. So that's the compromise. But you want to lift heavy. So how and the spectrum just goes. Like some people are I'm more functional. I say I'm more functional fitness, or I want to be able to run forever, and I can do everything, kind of thing. So like, how can I build that? Because that plays into my current mantra, which is like, healthy body, healthy mind.
Yeah.
Sharp body, sharp mind. Like, I know we have a lot of people have a lot of, especially because of COVID, that really took a lot of mental toll on a lot of people. Like, I'm not trying to preach, like, I'm not trying to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger when he did like those commercials of like, got to play an hour a day thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it has so many benefits. So how can we make that more of a pleasing factor instead of more of a chore that people have to do? I'm like, okay, I can work in some parameter of that and turn it into its own industry of, instead of calling it fitness, let's call it, I mean, it's already health, but like health, fitness,
Health
kind of,
nutrients.
yeah, like let's get the diets right. Let's just slowly build on that. Again, that's long-term idea. But as I keep thinking of like, what can I make the next small thing, I come up with these crazy bigger ideas. Like men's grooming is like another one that I have. Men's clothing and style. Like, I cater it to men because it's an issue I deal with.
Yes.
I don't really deal with an issue with women's clothing, right? For obvious reasons. So that's literally where it's going. Literally, I just need to find that, and I'm having so much fun with it because I keep spawning like new, radically large ideas for me that I'm like, I can't wait till it's not. I'm like, I can't wait till I get to that point. So I just got to figure out what that next thing is for me that I can work on that'll help me start that domino.
The first domino. Gotta find it.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd find something before the app?
Yeah, I don't think the app is going to be
okay.
it. I don't think it is. I think, like I said, I think that's probably number 2 or 3 in my head. Right?
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Because like for me right now, the 2 industries that I am fully enveloped in is fitness and bar and food and service. So I guarantee you there's something I can find in there that's worth like, here's an adjustment I can make that'll be on a grand scale across all bars or all gyms or all fitness worlds that will be a benefit to everybody. And I think that's the path that you have to, and that's what Jeff Bezos was talking about. I saw this interview with him.
Yeah.
He was like, you have to find not something that'll make you money, but something that will help people access their benefits and make them more creative and make them branch out and do more things. So I think that as I keep that in mind, I don't think about what the monetary success of it will be. I think about like, how can this be better for not just me?
How will benefit mankind, essentially.
Yeah, even in the smallest ways. And I start with me because that's the only person I know better.
Like, do you cook often?
I've been.
Okay. Well, shit, never mind. I was going to say, would you know how to help cooks benefit from, ease of access of a certain thing?
Right.
Make their lives easier. But
exactly. So that's another thing is like, I've been trying to get back onto this diet that I used to do, which was, it was an all meat diet. So it was a carnivore diet.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want to do it yet because one of the benefits that it has, and it's not a benefit for me because I have this problem. It's a problem for me because I lose weight really fast. So I don't eat all right, let me rephrase. If I miss a meal throughout the day, I'm probably going to lose weight. That's how it goes.
Okay.
And to a lot of people, that's kind of a blessing. To me, that's a very big issue because at a certain point, I was under 150 pounds. I was thin. I was really just shedding weight, doing nothing. I wasn't doing anything, and weight would just fall off.
How long ago was that?
That was at the beginning of COVID when I first moved back.
Okay.
So it was funny because when I had gone to Hawaii right before I moved back, and I was at my heaviest, which was like 190, and I wanted myself to be at that weight, and it was a little uncomfortable, but I was also like just very big and bulky. Like it was a strong 190. It wasn't like a flat. It was a strong 190. And then I went through like this huge depressive wave, and then COVID hit, and I even went through a bigger one, and I stopped taking care of myself. I stopped going to the gym, and I dropped 40 pounds. And I was like, and it was funny because like everyone in COVID was like, oh, I was gaining like 50 or 60 pounds. And I lost 40. And they're like, oh, well, where's that issue for me? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
it's just a different issue.
Yeah, that's
some people are overweight, some people are underweight.
That's just my body. That's just how my genetics function. I'm sorry, but yeah. So I lost all that weight, and I was like, okay. But I forgot where I was going with this.
Talking about diet, carnivore diet.
Yes. So the carnivore diet. So when I was on that diet, I was at 190, and I started walking. I really pushed my weight, so I would just scarf my face. But I felt the most like mentally clear and the most focused when I was on that diet. And that's just for me. I can't speak on other people's dietary needs because everyone can have everyone's just different. But for me, that one was the one that was just like I felt so hyper focused and my body was at its peak in that diet. But at the same time, that problem was like on the carnivore diet, I would just shed fat, and I already have low body fat percentage. I would just shed weight, so like my weight would just be dropped. So I would have to eat a lot just to compensate. So I want to pick my weight up now to drop it, and that's what I was getting at. Sorry, this is a little bit of a tangential story, but I'll tie it in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So on that diet, I ate a lot of liver. Like beef liver was like a big proponent, and it's one of the most nutritionally dense meals you can have.
Oh, okay. I never knew that.
Yeah, so it's very nutritionally dense. And Arizona, I had a butcher shop that I'd go to, and they would have it. They would always have it, and they kind of knew me there, so like they would just like have 4 or 5 pounds saved off to the side for me. And I was trying to find one here, and I was having the hardest time. So like having access to that, alone would be another thing that would be amazing, because it's not. I found it at Whole Foods. I had to call like 3 or 4 different Whole Foods to find it though, but I called it, and I was like, it's hard because it's not that big of a commodity. Well, he was like, the guy was like, well, we sell out of it really fast, so it is a commodity. I'm like, yeah, but you're the only location that had it out of 3. And that's out of Whole Foods. That's not even like all the rest of the markets. Like I've been to Safeways, I've been to Sprouts, I've been to butcher shops, and they don't even have it at times. So it's not a commodity.
We don't have a lot of like local butcher shops in America in general, really.
No, which was why I really loved that one in Arizona. It was called the Meat Shop. It was awesome. Like it was like the legit butcher shop. They had their little storefront, but in the back, like they had their whole butchering going on.
That's sick.
They had there's one in Los Gatos called Los Gatos Meats. That's what it's called. But I don't think they didn't have anything posted for liver, and it's a hard availability for that. So
it's weird because Indian people only go to butcher shops. We don't get meat anywhere else.
Really?
Because most people do halal. So you have to go to places and they have to like cut it, and clean a certain.
I prefer butcher shops, man.
Butcher shops are cool.
That's why like when people are like, "Oh, I just buy my like meat at like Costco and shit," I was like,
I try not to.
I used to go to like Asian stores or like butcher shops.
Yeah. I go to Whole Foods because again, that's the only place I could find that has liver.
Oh yeah, that's why when I go to butcher shops, they always have liver. I mean, it might not be a crazy quantity, but you can find some.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been on this health fitness, but it's made my life so much more enjoyable now. Again, you've been through the worst of it with me, and I think you've heard a lot of it too.
Because I wasn't there for all of it, so
you weren't.
I would hear
but you would definitely hear about it, and it's been a battle. It's been a battle, but now that I'm at this point, I don't want to let up, But yeah, I felt like this was a very wholesome. Good, we got to reconnect, which was amazing.
Catching up.
Yeah, and just very wholesome.
That's how the last podcast was too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a little different perspective on that. Or the last one. Oh, the last time we were here.
Yeah. But it was more topic oriented. Like we had topics.
This one just felt, again, this is
it's just conversation.
This one was did we keep this on here when we talked about the episode we lost? No, that was off camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the episode we lost, I was talking about how fluid it was. This was just as fluid. It just felt like a very easy mesh. I don't feel like I'm forcing myself to have to think about what I'm trying to say, or I feel like I have to steer a conversation. It just felt very fluid. I like this episode.
Good to hear.
Any lasting thoughts or notes that you want to drop to the people?
Not really.
Well, I actually like yours, so I gave the talented and remind me what it is.
Working
talent versus hard work that we talked about. But we didn't even talk about talent versus hard work.
Well, he was talking about your mantra.
But what was that mantra you said? You're
hardworking talent.
Hardworking talent.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yes, but the mantra that you were saying was hardworking talent.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah. That's a really good one because I feel like people get complacent when they know they are talented in something.
That tends to happen. I don't know. There's a lot of talented people out there that just don't push themselves because can't speak anymore. Because they have the talent already, so it's kind of or whatever. Then there's the people who work hard because they have to, and if they never had the talent,
mentality.
Exactly.
But yeah, I feel like people need to take that away. I think that's a good takeaway. That Mine's more oriented, but I feel like that one's just a really good holistic, universal kind of takeaway. Hardworking talent.
There's also someone I know who has a video game analogy. It's like there's a video game where you either start with high base stats, but it's hard for you to learn new things, and then there's low stats, but it's easier for you to pick up certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think like that sometimes. I'm like, okay, what would my character like if I had a character like HUD? Like, what would my stats be?
What's your skill tree?
Yeah. Man, that was a great episode. Thank you for that, John.
No problem.
On that note, thank you guys for tuning in. It's your boy Maui.
And Charles.
And this is Couch Surfing. Peace.